Okay, so I just wanted to talk a bit about some of the things that I had done before to understand scale degrees and what I'm doing now instead. So, first, just to show you what I mean by scale degrees, G, this is just an F dominant scale, and then it's written out by scale degrees and extensions. So, what I was doing was I was going through sheet music and I would put in 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11, 13, right? And you start to build awareness around the scale degrees, the chords, and I would do a lot of cell work, transposition that way. I think when I took rhythm changes through all 12 keys, that's how I did it. But I've always been searching for a better way to visualize things because I'm a visual guy. I'm a visual pattern guy, but I like to get clean looking information on one sort of visual image. And when you think about like how much information is actually contained on staff paper, it's a lot. You got key signatures, tempos, lines, spaces, and it was really the unevenness between the lines and the spaces that really bugged me. Anyway, what I started doing now is a is a little bit different. It's quite a bit, but I'm just gonna go through sort of how I do it. And I'm coining this term currently because I haven't. I see a lot of people like iReal kind of does it, but I'm considering this right now as more of a grid methodology. But it's like and that's important because I want things to be even. So and that's why I'm calling them a grid. So first thing that I do, and this will be important as we go through, is I write out these numbers. 7, 1, I think 2 is fine, and those represent the scale degrees. Um, and then underneath of it, I write down how you would do a 2-5-1, right? So starting on that different note, and this will make sense in a sec. So 5, 7, 8, sorry, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think is all you need. So all this is really saying is that if I'm on a 4 of 1, so say I'm in F major and I'm on a B flat, that's a bad choice. Say I'm on F major, so you have G, and then I have A. So say I'm on the A and I want to do a 2-5 into the G. Well, I know A is the third degree of F, so I would have to play a 6 of the F, right, which would be a D. So you go A, D, G, and then on the 2, I know it's a 2-5-1, so you would go G, C, F, right? And that'll make sense why I'm doing that in a sec. So this is the first thing just for easy reference. Then the next part is a little bit challenging because you first, for me, I first needed to memorize the Roman numerals relative to sort of the tonic key, which I've already done. And so instead of going back to do that, to show you that, I'm just going to show you how to write out a new key. Or how I've been doing it. So we're doing I Fall in Love. And like I know that it starts on the 2, right? So you start off on a 2, 5, and then you go to a 1, and then you do the 4. But as I'm going through, I'm also noting the chord quality. So then it's a 2, 5, 1, major 7, 4, major 7. Then it gets interesting because now I know that we're doing a minor 2, 5, but it essentially starts on the 7. So now I write the Roman numerals relative to the 1, right? And that way I know kind of where I'm at relative to the tonic ish. So it's like it's a 7, and it's a half diminished 7. And then because I drew this up here, I know that if I'm on the 7, I've got to do the 3. And yeah, so I'll write that out. 1, 2, 3. Now because it's an altered dominant, we put 7A, and then we're playing the 6 minor 7. Okay. Now this one is kind of weird because what this note is relative to the tonic key is actually a sharp 4. So we just write sharp 1, 4, and I know that this chord quality is done a bunch of different ways at different times, but for me, I think I'm generally remembering this one as a half diminished. And then down here, I know I'm and another thing to remember is that the 4 here goes into the 7, so it has that diagonal relationship up here. If we're talking about like a 5-1 cadence or something, but the 5 of X. Anyway, enough on that. So then you go a 7 into, and it's the same thing. You have a 3, 7A into a 6 minor 7, 6 minor 7. And then the next thing is we repeat this chord. So we have the sharp 1, the sharp 4, but it's not a capital. It's not a. Oh, sorry. This should be a minor. So if that's the important thing is if it's functioning as a 7, you've got to do it like that. If it's functioning as a dominant or a dominant 7 altered or a dominant 7 flat 9 or whatever, but if it's a minor chord, then you got to write lowercase. So here, because I want to do the half diminished 7, I'm going to write it lowercase, functions in the minor chord. Anyway, so same thing here. Okay. And then if I'm on the 4, because I know this is a 2-5 here, I know if I'm on the 4, I got to go to the 7. And so here I'm doing a capital because I know it's a 7 altered. So it has capital Roman numerals. So then, and this makes sense. So this is the first sanity check that I'm doing it correctly, because I know here it just switches, the root note stays the same, but the chord quality differs, and we play the 2-5 from the minor 2-5 relative to the tonic key again. So we do the 7, half diminished 7, and then the 3. And then what happens is we repeat this 2-5. So then we just play the sharp 4, half diminished 7. We play the 7, 7 altered. I'm doing just a 7A. It's just, one note difference, just a little bit quicker. And then we hit the 3. But at this bar, the 3 doesn't go to minor. It goes to a dominant. So I know that this is probably a 7A. Same thing, just repeats. But here, and this is the same thing, it takes this dominant chord quality and it just makes it minor. So we do a half diminished 7. We reference this little handy chart up here for a 6. And I know again that this 6 is going to be an altered. And then this is the other sanity check. I know that in this bar right here, that these two stay the same. I know that these two root notes stay the same. And I know that here we're actually returning to the tonic key of 2 minor. And then we play the dominant, but it's a 6 because we return to the 2 back down here. So the 2 minor 7, and then I play the what do you play here? Right, it's a 6, and it's the same thing. I've seen it done a few different ways. For now, I'm just going to put an altered 7 in here. I've also seen it as a half diminished 7, but I'll just leave it like that for now. So yeah, 2. Now this is another interesting thing, because there's a couple different ways to think about it. At this bar, you start a 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 back to the tonic key, right? And then you play this. This is going to be a 6, and then on this last one, I've actually seen it mostly as a half diminished 7, so it's lowercase. Anyway, But when we start this, um, this these are all 7 altered. This is a 3/6. Then you go 2, and then you're 5, 7, and then 1. So I recognize that pattern. And then it's this chord here. Now sometimes it's a 2/5 into the 3. Sometimes it's a 2 just into the 3. And that's all I think I'm gonna do. So what is it? Well, I just remember this by saying that it is a whole step up from the 3. Or is it a half step? Maybe it's a half step. Half step up from the 3. So yeah, it's just the 4. So, and it's not the sharp 4 like it is in this other place, but it is it is a regular 4, and it's treated as a minor chord. There. So not too shabby. Then once, and I'll be repeating this a bunch of times, so I really ingrain sort of the movement into my hands and stuff. But then what I do is do the same, and sorry, this is quick. I took a little bit more time when I did it before. Now, so I'm transposing to my 3rd key, and my 3rd key is the 1 chord is an E flat, major 7. So then it becomes super easy, right? Like this is an E flat 7, and then you have a 2, which is an F, B flat, and then the 4 is an A flat, dominant 7, and then you get down to the E flat D. So D, I'll just do the first line, and then you just take it through. But the D flat, sorry, the D half diminished 7 into D half diminished 7 into the 3, which would be the G, and then C minor 7. This would be a G7 altered, C minor 7, and then I wanted to show this sharp 4 because at this point, that's where you look at the A flat, but you've got to go in A because the A is the 5 of D, and I don't know, like I guess that's why, but that's why this isn't an A flat, because an A is the 5 that pulls you down back to the D half diminished 7. So this would be an A. Yeah, half diminished 7. I'll think about this one a little more. Anyway, so then, now why I like these grids too is because you can map out an entire voice lead pattern. So keep in mind, like I was using sheet music before, and it took forever to write it out. But now I can go through and map out my voice leads in one little pattern. And so I start on the 9 of the F, right? Well, I guess I'll finish writing out these chords so I don't make a mistake. But yeah, so G7 altered into a C minor 7. Repeat. Then we go into an A half diminished 7. What's the 4? A D 7 altered into a G minor 7. Oh, sorry. And then D7 altered, and then the root note stays the same. D half diminished 7 into a G7 altered. And then we do this guy again. So then we're A, D7 altered into a G. And then this is going to be a G7 altered. Then we're into G minor 7. C 7 altered into an F. It returns us back to the tonic. And then we're C7 altered into an F minor 7. Now we're doing the 4, so we're A flat minor 7. Then we do the 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, which is a G7, a 3. 6, to F, B flat, 7, and then an E flat, major 7, and then we do the 5 of 2, which is the 6. So you have a C minor 7, C7 altered or C7 half diminished. Okay, so now that I have all the chords written out, now I'm going to do my voice leading exercise, and that's the I start on the G, and because that's the 6 of F, and remember, like again, like I used to do it like this, and I'd have to write out these things on scales, get to my G, and say, oh, that's my voice lead, and then show the other chord. No, way easier to do it this way. I mean, it takes it takes a little bit to visualize this, depending upon your background and stuff. But where I come from, more of a theory and sheet music thing, then it takes me a little bit to get the habit. So, yeah. So then this pattern is awesome because then it goes G, it's just A flat. It's just this to me, like I know this is a lot, but when you get to here, it's so musical, and it just gives you so much time, so much to work with on, these sort of grid concepts. So I mean, G, A flat, F, G, A flat, F, G, E flat, F, D. That's it. That's your pattern, right? This navigating through this gives you a lot of sense of target notes and strong tonality. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to come up with more, but this forms the basis of how I work on patterns going through the changes. And so, restart, E flat, F, and then, and I mean, you can reference either the intervals, but see, I know it goes up 1 and then down 2, G up 1, down 2 to the F, right? And I know that's going to hit me in the 9th, and then the G is going to be the 7th of the next chord, and lo and behold, G is the flat, or G is the 7 of A flat rather. So E flat, F, D stays there, and then yeah, I guess you stay there again. No, here you want to do A, B flat, and then E flat, F. So this is a neat little ascending line. So instead of going A, B flat, and then down, like I've done on other 2/5s, start on the 9. Oh, shoot. I wrote the wrong letters here, sorry. So it's an A, so you want to do a B flat, C, which is the 7 of D, and then because this chord quality because the root note stays the same, we're just going to go up 2 notes to the E flat and play the F. So anyway, I find this really interesting. So you go B flat, C, skip a note, and that hits you the 9th of the same root note. So you go from the 7th to the 9th when you stay on the same root. Yeah, a lot of possibilities there. Anyway, so A, B flat to the C, into the A flat, repeat the A flat, and then again here, you're gonna switch. No, you're gonna stay there. So you're gonna go A flat, B flat, G. Yeah. And then I had to do something a little bit more interesting down here. So I can't remember exactly what I did. I think I went up to the B flat. Yeah, because it was the same back here. And then I went G. Did I do B flat again? I can't remember. So on the G, I remember I hit the A flat, if I'm not mistaken. So the question is how I get down to the A flat, and then yeah, I think I just repeated here. So an A flat, B flat, G, B flat, G, B flat, and then A flat. I mean, you could do something different around here, but this just got me the structure. But this pattern as well, because you're kind of enclosing the A flat around this turn, and it sounded really good harmonically. So then you're back to A flat, B flat, right? B flat being the seventh of C7 altered, and A flat being the 7 of G7 altered. Ooh, that's a good question. I guess these are more the chord tones if it was minor. Well, anyway, I'll go back and revisit that. It sounded good when I did it before, so maybe I'll have to switch that. Or maybe I have to go back and check the altered chords again. Maybe they do have those flats, the flat sevens. Anyway, or the sharp 13, I guess you call them. But I'll go back and check that. Anyway, so but continuing on down. So just when you get to the F, you're playing a G. When you're on the B flat 7, you're playing an A flat. C, G, A flat. And then E flat, you're playing an F. And then, yeah, that's it. And then C, I guess you can play whatever gets you back to the G, which I guess F. I guess an A flat could work there. Or, which is the 6. And that's kind of neat to enclose the G. Or you could play a F. C. Yeah, that could work. The A flat, or you could play a B flat. Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of it. It's obviously it's a lot, but I found that this speaks way more. It's a lot quicker than doing it on staff paper. It's somewhat easier to translate to the instrument as well. And yeah, that's it. Thanks.